high in the Andes, where jagged peaks meet the sky and valleys plunge into mist. A people once rose to carve an empire unlike any the world had seen. It was called Tawantinsuyu, land of the four quarters. To outsiders it became known as the Inca Empire, a realm that would stretch over 4,000 kilometers along the spine of South America, binding deserts, mountains, and jungles under one rule. Its roads would rival those of Rome. Its cities would dazzle with stonework that still defies time, and its rulers would claim descent from the sun itself. This is the story of how the Inca rose from a small Andean tribe to command the largest empire ever built in the Americas. Long before the empire, the Andes were a world of fragmented kingdoms. Cultures such as the Chavin, Mocha, Nosca, and later the Wari and Tiwanaku left deep imprint temples, ceramics, textiles, and an evolving tradition of statecraft. When the Wari collapsed around the 11th century, the Andes fractured into competing chiefdoms, each clinging to fertile valleys or highland plateaus. It was into this fractured world that the Inca emerged, little more than a clan settled around the Cusco Valley. According to their origin myth, they were children of Inti, the sun god, sent forth from the cave of Pacaratombo, or rising from the sacred waters of Lake Titicaca. Their founder, Manco Capac, is said to have carried a golden staff that sank into the fertile soil of Cusco, chosen by the gods to be the heart of their people. At first, the Inca were one tribe among many, vulnerable to raids and rival lords. Yet, through alliances and campaigns, they began to assert dominance. The 9th Inca ruler, Pachacati, changed everything. His very name meant world shaker. Around 1438, Cusco faced invasion by the Chanca people, fierce warriors who nearly destroyed the Inca. Pachacati rallied his people and defeated them in a decisive battle. It was a turning point, the moment the Inca transformed from a small valley kingdom into an empire. Chronicles describe Pachacati as both visionary and ruthless. He reorganized Cusco into a grand capital, designed in the shape of a puma, with temples clad in gold. He expanded roads across mountains, introduced administrative divisions, and turned conquered peoples into part of a vast system. The empire expanded rapidly under Pachacati and his successors. His son, Topa Inca Yupanqui, pushed the frontiers north into present-day Ecuador and south into Chile and Argentina. The Inca method of conquest was both efficient and relentless. Armies marched along stone-paved highways that crossed dizzying mountain passes. Resistance was met with brutal suppression, yet cooperation brought privileges. Local leaders, or curacas, often retained their positions if they pledged loyalty to the Sapa Inca, the unique Inca ruler and living son of the sun. Populations were sometimes relocated in vast numbers, a policy known as MIT, designed to break resistance and spread skills across the empire. At the heart of Inca power was not just force of arms, but organization. Tawantinsuyu was divided into 4 quarters: Chinchasuyu, Antisuyu, Kalasui, and Kuntasuij, feeding into the capital. A web of roads and rope bridges tied this land together, stretching more than 40,000 kilometers. Runners known as chasqui carried messages, fresh fish, or news from the coast to Cusco in astonishing speed. Without writing, the Inca relied on quipu bundles of knotted cords to record tribute, census, and military data. To this day, scholars debate whether quipu was purely numerical or a complex writing system. Hidden in knots and colors, religion gave legitimacy to conquest. The Sapa Inca ruled as the son of Inti, and Cusco's most sacred temple, Coricancha, was covered in sheets of gold that reflected the sun's brilliance. Festivals like Inti Raymi celebrated the solstice with rituals, sacrifices, and dances meant to sustain cosmic order. The Inca also practiced Kapay, sending chosen children on pilgrimages to mountaintops where they were sacrificed, preserved in ice as offerings to the gods of sky and mountain. These acts reinforced the bond between the empire, the natural world, and the divine. Yet the system was also deeply practical. The Inca state managed vast storehouses filled with maize, potatoes, dried meat, and textiles. These could be redistributed in times of famine, ensuring loyalty. The labor tax, called meta, required communities to provide manpower for farming, road construction, or military service. In return, the empire provided security, feasts, and the infrastructure that bound people together. Archaeologists have marveled at the precision of Inca engineering: terraces climbing steep slopes, canals that directed water with perfect gradient, and walls of stone so finely cut that no mortar was needed. Machu Picchu, perched among clouds, remains the most iconic example possibly, a royal estate for Pachacati, hidden yet enduring as a testament to their genius. As the empire grew, so too did its challenges. Maintaining unity across mountains and deserts required constant vigilance. In the north, the Quitu and Canari resisted. In the south, the fierce Mapuche refused submission. Succession disputes among the royal lines simmered. The Inca had no fixed system for inheritance. Each ruler built his own palace and estate, which remained under his descendants' control after death. This drove each new emperor to expand further, seeking land and wealth for his own lineage. Expansion was not only ambition, it was necessity. By the early 16th century, the empire stretched from Colombia to central Chile, ruling as many as 12 million people. But it was also nearing a breaking point. When Huayna Capac, one of the last great emperors, died around 1527, possibly of smallpox carried by distant European contact, his death plunged the empire into civil war. His sons, Huasca in Cusco and Atahualpa in Quito, fought bitterly for the throne. Entire armies clashed in the highlands, tearing apart the unity Pachacati had forged. It was in this moment of division that the Spaniards arrived. Francisco Pizarro landed with a few hundred men in 1532, armed with steel, horses, and guns unknown to the Andean world. Atahualpa had just defeated Huasca and was consolidating his rule. Confident, he agreed to meet Pizarro in the town of Cajamarca. The encounter would become infamous. Offered a Bible and told to embrace Christianity, Atahualpa cast it aside. The Spaniards unleashed their attack. Thousands of Inca were slaughtered in a single day, and the emperor himself was captured. Despite a ransom said to fill a room with gold and silver, Atahualpa was executed. The greatest empire of the Americas, at its height, crumbled within years. The fall of the Inca was sudden, but their legacy endured. Roads and terraces still lace the Andes. Quipus continue to puzzle scholars. Myths of Manco, Capac, Pachacati, and Atahualpa live on in Andean memory. For many in Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, and beyond, the Inca remain not a vanished empire, but a foundation of identity. In Quechua, the language of the Inca still spoken today by millions. The echoes of Tawantinsuyu endure. The story of the Inca is one of vision and fragility, brilliance and tragedy. They rose from a single valley to rule mountains and deserts, binding vast peoples with stone, faith, and order. They fell to guns and disease, but not to silence. Their empire's stones still stand, their culture still breathes, and their story still shapes the Andes. 2. Walk the sacred valley of Cusco or the terraces of Machu Picchu is to feel their presence and empire that touched the sky and dared to call itself the kingdom of the sun. This episode was created with deep respect for the Inca legacy and the scholarship that continues to illuminate it. If you value this kind of storytelling where history is not forgotten, but brought vividly to life, consider supporting the effort. Your support ensures that the past continues to be told with care, accuracy, and the reverence it deserves.